All right. Howdy, folks. Welcome back. So now Argentina getting hammered here. Buenos Aires, good air. Argentina getting slammed with hail and flash floods and all kinds of crazy weather all around the world. All right. Let's get over here to our solar report here. Lots to cover tonight, so let's just get started here. Thank you all for being here and taking time out of your precious day to be with our precious family here. Let's just get to business here. All right. As you can see here, March 20th, 2024, you can see we got multiple CMEs. This one going on with an object in it, this one with an object in it, and another CME over here to the side, or another blast over here to the side. So 1, 2. There we go. 1, 2, and 3. We got this one right here. And there's an object right in that one, something in there, and then here. So let's just start going through this frame by frame. Oh, boy. Okay, opening frame 024 here. As we start progressing into the day here, you see we have this small ejection here. Little spits and sputters. Notice all these bright spires that we got going on here. And then here comes our first event, basically right here. You can see our dark object right here. See the indentation it's making. If we go previous frame, right there. So let me just kind of find a good frame that kind of captures it really. This next CME comes out and really blanks this out so you can't see it, but we got another one coming out right here too, so that's the one I'm talking about right there. Then we have this eruption going on at the same time with another one right here. Let's zoom in on this frame real quick here. Okay, you can see this one, nice little black dot right there, the curvature. You can see the magnetic field as it starts to emerge. And then you can see the tail end of this one over here. If we can get these, well, can't get the buttons down below, but there's a little zoom in of that frame with this one popping out and this one over here finishing off. Wait, back out a little bit. It's right there. Sorry. Whoops. Right there. Okay. So let's, now we saw those. Let's continue on. Now this, they get kind of blinded out by this third one now. And over here, as this emerges, you can see our dark spot right here. It's kind of immersed in there, but also these other ones sneaking out as this one. See, here's a secondary one or something right in there, while this thing is sneaking out here too. With a couple of, looks like a couple of smaller ones trailing behind there. And then something going on there at the tail end. So, whoops. Let's just keep progressing one frame at a time through this again. Where's that first event? Right there. See that one? Then this second one. Third one, it looks like. Then we have this one off to the right, or off to the left, while we have this one at the bottom squirting out too. Ooh, right there's a good shot. Yeah, you can see it right in here, still partially draped with plasma right here. And then there's something else going on over here in this dark patch. But see how it comes off the spire right here? All right, let's back on out of this again and progress. Whoops, just a tad bit more right there. Progress through there. Well, hopefully you'll feel better after this show. Once we get this show to the end of it, hopefully I'll make you feel a little better. All right, let's go ahead and start that loop again. Let it finish playing there. Your trained eye kind of see what was going on there. The motion also helps you see. Sometimes it's the motion that our eyes detect. All right, so clearly some extracurricular activity going on here. Okay, so there's your SOHO satellite. Now let's come on over to the solar ham here. And you can see our bumpy day here in response to our activity today. And also last night, somebody in the chat mentioned we just had a 7.4 M74, and I was like, oh yeah, we need to go back and report on that, and I forgot. So unfortunately, everybody else got to report on it when it fell in my lap, and somebody even told me, but here it is anyway. Okay, so data dropout, but minus that, you can see how bumpy of a day it was. All right, here's another little possible M class right there, or almost nearly one, and then this 7.4 that we had today, which of course came off the sunspot region that's facing Earth. Okay, so far there's your 7.4, and then a 2 also. So this one right here was the 2.1, your 7.4, and then we had another M flare, a little M2 right there. Okay. Our M flare potential climbing and our X flare climbing. That's a little more like it, because we got two of these bad boys here, these sunspots that are right like next to each other, above and below each other. One's beta, gamma, delta, and the other is beta. They both have a delta configuration. That's not good. All right. Now let's pull back just a tad bit more. I think there we go. All right. Now over here on our KP index, you can see we had that little absorption event here. We tapered off. It started to mellow out, went way down to the floor here. And now we've had just a little small impact, only KP2. Not too much. You can see our auroras are just green. It's not too bad. But we have been absorbing energy lately. Okay. Mild amounts, not medium or moderate, but mild. Okay. You can see our auroras here. And this 7.4, let's read about it. A moderately strong solar flare was just observed at AR 3615, this time a 7.4. A lack of coronal dimming in updated imagery suggests that a noteworthy CME will not be associated with this event. The region continues to rotate into a better Earth-facing position and will remain a threat for additional solar flares above M5. All right, so this big old complex magnetic field is snapping and crackling and popping, and little M7s are popping out of there. Okay, so we had a 7.4 come out of there. There's the radio blackout. That's also absorption. That's energy that just got absorbed down to the core, and we'll see repercussions of that. All right, here's the updated look at sunspot region 3615 on Tuesday. That's still Tuesdays. Let's just open this tracker real quick. See, they're still tracking the same event that's due to hit, well, tomorrow. I can get this to pull up, but since it's not really pulling up, jam things up. So here's the solar flare itself was impulsive and a noteworthy CME is unlikely. The active region continues to evolve and additional solar flares above M1 level will be possible. That's an old article, but here's your two regions right here, 14 and 15, okay? And the hemisphere, the equator of the sun right here, we're on the southern part of the sun. We're not right at the hemisphere or the the middle of the sun. We're the southern part of the hemisphere, okay? We're not right at the equator of the sun, all right? And there's one above us and one below us, and they're both rotating our way. So, oh Lord, help me tonight, please. Been struggling all day today. It's just been one of those long days. Okay, here we go. Another strong solar flare, AR 3615, erupted again today, March 20th, producing an impulsive 7.4 solar flare. The radiation from the flare caused a brief but deep shortwave radio blackout in the Indian Ocean. All right, now let's get to the juice of this this video tonight and the reason for the title. The polar vortex is spinning backwards. I'm sure you've heard that a couple of times today. Earlier this month, atmospheric scientists noted something unusual in the Arctic stratosphere. The polar vortex was spinning backward. The vortex changed direction around March 4th, reports Dr. Amy Butler. It was a substantial reversal, reaching minus 25 a few days ago, which puts it in the top 6 strongest of such events since 1979. So, the polar vortex is spinning backwards. We watched that here at this channel over the last couple of weeks. I showed you the polar vortex every night and how it went bipolar, how the sub-vortex, we'll get to that. We'll get to that just here in a second. But let's just hold that on the burner real quick, all right, because that's going to be tonight's topic. All right, real quick. Let's finish reading this, which puts it in the top 10 or top 6 strongest events since 1979. 2 weeks later, it is still spinning backwards. What's going on? Atmospheric planetary waves have been breaking in the polar stratosphere, increasing its temperature. Atmospheric planetary waves, otherwise known as waves from the sun, have been breaking in the polar stratosphere, increasing its temperature. We call this sudden stratospheric warming. Okay, so now we've had a sudden stratospheric warming event, and it can cause the vortex to change direction. In recent years, many people have heard the phrase polar vortex because of the effect it can have on winter weather. When the polar vortex is strong and stable, it helps confine cold air to polar regions. When the vortex weakens or becomes disturbed, cold air spills out to lower latitudes. This month's backward vortex has not caused an outbreak of winter weather. Instead, it has produced an increase in polar ozone. Duly noted, increase in polar ozone. Sudden warming events accelerate the transport of ozone from the tropics to the poles. Also, warming air helps prevent chemical ozone loss. The current ozone spike, the opposite of an ozone hole, is the biggest in the month of March since record keeping began. All right. So, soon things could return to normal. The vortex's backward spin is slowing and could become westerly again in about 10 days. So we'll see. But keep that in mind. We've been watching that for quite a while now, and Just real quick, let's take a peek at the Schumann, and then we'll go over to the polar vortex. Here's your Schumann. We had quite a strong grinding event, really powerful, all the way through a lot of the frequencies right here. Came out of the backside pretty good, pumping along. Didn't really have too much of a weakness. We had our little weakness was just now. Let me refresh this for another show. Can we? Yeah, just right here, this little band, we had a little weakness, but we're coming back out of it, so that's good. Now, back to our polar vortex. So here we have it set up. Let me just kind of zoom in here and get you associated where we're talking about. Okay, this used to be our polar vortex. This was the sub vortex that grew on it and was going backwards across the United States for a couple of weeks there. Remember, it was dropping down here and all the way down to the Mexican border. It was down here. Then it grew in size and pinched off our main vortex, our main polar vortex, which has been shoved down here. This rotation was next to this, got pinched off, did the conveyor belt effect, and now the conveyor belt has broken down into multiple vortices. And you can see that we have several vortexes going on. We have our main polar vortex up here that is spinning backwards, okay, because this used to be our main vortex. This thing grew, it kind of disappeared for a while. Then it came back, grew in size, and pinched off the main vortex. And now the main vortex is scattered out all over the place. And this one's taking over as, the main vortex. Not really taking over. Let's just say it's the one closest to the pole right now. So that would make it the polar vortex. Before, when it was down here in America, the other one was closer to the pole. So they shifted and changed position. This one has shoved this one down, and now this one has taken over up at the north as our backward spinning polar vortex. And we watched the evolution of this over the course since before March 4th. All right, we watched it approach that, go through it, and then into this phase. They're a little behind on their reporting. We knew that weeks ago. All right, now let's get to our current conditions, though. As you can see, this one is kind of it's getting more organized. It's not so broad. All right, it's not strong. Doesn't have any strong winds in it like this, like these vortexes do. But it is getting more compact and solid in this area. Still kind of broad down in here too. But I'm talking about this region right here seems to be getting a little more organized. All right. Then you see the opposing vortex down here. They used to collide here in the middle, and that was our fire hose effect, right? Well, that fire hose effect has stopped on this intersection of vortexes, and now it's happening more down here at the other end on the other side of this vortex. All right. Now you see we have a flattening out conveyor belt type effect going on with this vortex here. Remember last night there was one here, and down here. This one's been pinched off and flattened out. And now we're seeing this conveyor belt flattened out pancake type, more of an effect, which creates these strong winds in between the two vortexes right here. All right. So our energy has shifted from in between these two to in between these two. And instead of weather getting spit out in this direction, now it's down here getting spit out in that direction. Look how it feeds into these other vortexes over here. This one spinning this way, comes up, contributes to this one. Over here, we got another one spinning here. This is just getting very, very complex, very wonky, very hard to keep track of, and, well, very unpredictable. Let me get that one. And it's making all kinds of weird faces on the planet, too. But what a wonky vortex system we've got going here now, okay? And now with this weird shift of the vortexes and multiple vortexes, it's really playing havoc with the transition layer. This transition layer used to be kind of semi-calm, but now it's really filling in and coming to life. You see this huge vortex here at this level, okay? This is like a level of air below your vortex. And the vortex was fighting against it here, creates the ridge effect, okay, driving stuff down and above. See the stuff coming up and above. Here's our bubble, our ridge, because the upper vortex is blowing right here. Let's shift it real quick and you'll see. See what I'm saying? That upper level wind is going the opposite direction of these winds and causes that ridge. Once it comes off that ridge, it causes this vortex right here. Now, this vortex is rotating the correct direction. All right. So even though up above it's going backwards, this one is rotating the correct direction. Now, look over here what's happening here. I haven't seen a band of red this intense on this transition zone like this before. And it's due to this vortex that's forming up here in a transition layer. So we got vortexes forming now in our transition layers. You see them right there? Which is then now that is what's wreaking havoc now on our jet stream. So here's the upper jet stream. You see this big pocket right here where it's going up and over, but a lot of this energy is going south, coming at the Gulf. We got energy that got shunted north, comes back down in with cold air back down into the plains. These two combine, almost combine, but a very wonky setup that we got going because of our transition layer. Let me get it right there. So there's your upper jet, which translates to your lower jet. Okay, there's your lower jet stream. You see it coming up from up here, bringing cold air down and across the Great Lakes region right there. So your setup is changing very quickly. Well, it's changing constantly and very erratically and suddenly. It all depends on what goes on up that polar vortex that transitions to the mid layer. All right, so there's your lower jet stream. Now let's look at the weather real quick here. All right, so we got this effect all because of our jet stream. We got this thing shunted up there. It looks like we got this powerful storm growing out here off the coast of Japan. And I don't know if that's going to tear away and go hit Japan or not. That's looking like a typhoon. Do you see the yin yang symbol in there, kind of, or the Pisces type looking? And this is. Let's go down to the surface here. Oh yeah, they got themselves some kind of typhoon or something going on right here. That's your surface. Let's go up a little bit here. Oh, yeah, your upper level winds are saying, hey, we got us a healthy storm right there with an eye in it. There's an eye in that storm. All the way down to the surface. All right, so usually when the passage of these objects happens, we get two big, strong vortexes somewhere on the planet. That could be one of them right there. Or we may, look at this. Huh. All right, well, we got to keep moving on. I got more stuff for you. So watch this storm out here off of Japan. It could possibly come back this way and strike Japan. Let's go over to where we're going. Oh, yeah, sandstorms. All right. So, ongoing sandstorms, still huge, huge one going on in Africa now. It's just getting bigger and stronger. It's actually blown stuff across the Mediterranean up into Spain and France. We got a healthy one here in Saudi Arabia. We got this one going here just off the Caspian Sea again. And then out here in the Gobi Desert. So 4 ongoing sandstorms. What? Is this something down here in Australia? Don't play games with me. There is. Look at that. That's not white yet, but do you see what I'm seeing here? There's a sandstorm starting to grow here in Australia. All right. So, which is even more particulates in the air, okay, for even more water droplets, as if we don't have enough volcanoes and ash and all those particulates. We got wind kicking up these sandstorms, and this one's been ongoing since November of 23, 4 months, over 4 months long now. And now we've gotten added areas like Saudi Arabia, China, and now up here by the Caspian Sea as well, too. So let's come on now over to the SO2. No. There. All right. Let's check out our coloration. Now it seems to have darkened up a little bit. Let me take the wind off there real quick. Looks to have darkened up a little bit and spread since yesterday. Remember, we had a lightening up. It's still a little light in this region, but it has the darken spread kind of up in this region now. Look at Europe; it's pretty filled in and darkened up a little bit. Let's come on over to America. Boom, bleeding out from the east over, right up through the middle, and then this side clearing up little patches here and there, but looks like a little filling in. We did have a little decrease in this region right here. Still looks to be there, but still a little darker up in this region. So that's all sulfur dioxide being pushed out through perforations in the crust because of the expanding magma down below. See, when the sun hits us, it causes that magma to heat and expand. And then when it expands, it wants to, come out through the crust, but it can't. The crust is holding it in. And it can only come out through little perforations, which I mean are holes in the crust like volcanoes or fissures. All right, here's Java. It's kind of darkened up and filled in a little bit now. And I can see that the wind is taking it off the coast right here. So that's not wind blowing it down the island. It's actually being blown off the coast. So it has darkened up in that region. And pressure's back again. Get that out of there. Let's come on over to South America. I want to take a look at this. Okay, it's pretty dark right there too. Something else I want to look at. Where was it? I saw. Oh, I don't see it anymore. I saw a plume or a curtain type effect. Well, kind of more like this, but out in the ocean where there wasn't any islands. So there was plumes of sulfur dioxide coming out of the water. All right, so there was underground or underwater plumes of sulfur dioxide that came up, rose to the surface, and had a little bit of current out in the water. No, that's from the wind currents. Anyways, we got to watch for that now too. Okay, sulfur dioxide plumes coming out of the water. Like this. You see the grayscale down here on the. You see this? This is not land. You see this gray part of the scale in white right here? That's in the middle of the ocean. Here's Hawaii, okay? This right here is a sulfur dioxide plume. Just because it's not in brown or orange like we're used to seeing, but see these lower readings down here that are gray to white to pink and then orange, purple. See, we're used to seeing these colors down here, but this is still part of the spectrum too. And looky here, we have this plume of sulfur dioxide out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. And that's not a landmass, all right? It might be soon. Yeah, that's funny. I love you, Hopkinson. That was awesome. I love you, darling. All right, so this is what we need to start looking out for is these sulfur dioxide plumes coming out of the water. And see, something's going on over here as well. See these little gray plumes out here? And then we got this curly Q type effect. I'm going to put some wind on right here just to make sure that that looks to be effects from the wind. But that is not, all right? That is a sulfur dioxide plume. You can even see this little wispy tail coming off of it down here. That's just the concentration levels. They're weak right here, but all around this area, see? It's a little stronger around it. So something's happening here at the surface. Okay, that was it for right now. See, there's other spots around here that's starting to happen too. All right, but for right now, that's it. Let's get on over to our earthquake report now because we got some earthquake activity, a little different per se, but some activity. Now let's just dive right on into our beginner spot here. So 4.4, but it's down at 461. So that's not a super deep quake. All right. That's not really our deep quake of the day. It is a mid-range 4, but it's at 461. It's almost 5. Almost 5. But so a semi-deep quake right there, 4 magnitude or mid-range 4 with a 5.3 down at 432. See, this is down at that same depth down there. So we have a like 3/4 depth, 2 quakes, a 5.3 and a mid-range 4. Right now, these guys need to watch out for a 5 coming along this plate boundary possibly. This did relieve some energy, but it could still travel on down because up here we have more 5 energy. 5.1, and the depth on that is 3.2. So that's really close to the surface. Right here we have a 4.9 down at 158. So that's another 5. Okay. Now look over here. Here's Java, and off the coast of Sumatra right here where we're seeing a lot of volcanic activity. They've had a 5 down at 53. So a lot of 5s on the map. All right, let's come up here to Japan. They had a 5.2 down at 48 there. All right, So all of these are all fives, except for this deep mid-range four right there. We come up here to the fulcrum, well, in between fulcrum points. There's a 4.9. And what do we do with nines here? Since they always do it, let's say that's another five, okay? Deep in the heart of India, we have a 4.6. All right. And that is a diverse quake right there. We don't see them there all the time. And it's right in the middle, right in the heart, right there of India. So 4.6 right there. And now we have just had a recent quake right now, a 4.1 off of Greece here, 41. All right. So we're seeing energy being coming out through earthquakes now, and we just had some current activity, an uptick in magnitude. We're seeing a bunch of fives. All right. On this side of the fulcrum point, we got a 3.4. What made it up here? 3.2 energy, and then 2.5. 2.5 there. A little stronger down here by California, 3.3 there. A 3.6 here, and then down in the Gulf, a 4.2. Let's take a peek over here at Texas. 2.5 and 2.8 out here in Oklahoma. While we're talking about earthquakes here, something I don't want to spook people or whatever, but something we need to start considering is the heart of the cross of the second X. One crosses here in Texas. The second X is up here by the New Madrid quake area. All right. And in the Bible, it talks about a big quake. There, last time it was in 1812. Remember, I told you about the War of 1812? So maybe watch out this area during the eclipse. It might possibly set off the earthquake here at New Madrid. A lot of things are pointing that way. All right, let's get a 4.1 here down at 41. 4.0 down at 100 there. And then more 5 activity out here, 5.2. South Sandwich Islands down at 43 there. All right, so we've had a lot of 5 activity going on today. All right, so an uptick in magnitude, and then we had some decent quakes along the San Andreas here. Okay, so it did relieve energy, but we got to be very, very aware. And a little burp from the sun. There's so much going on that it's hard to keep track of it, and one little miscue, one missed little thing is going to catch us off guard, even if we try as hard as we can to catch everything. All right, Lord, I meant to say, please, can we have the volcano page? There we go. Let's get this done. Okay, we're already into the 21st. Santa Guido, Fuego, Semeru, Merapi, Reventador, Senge, and Bagana. Here we go, Bagana in the Pau, New Guinea. All right. Explosive activity continues. Darwin warned about a volcanic ash plume that rose up to 10,000 feet at Bangana. Semeru. Yeah, 10,000 feet. Then Semeru had one to 14,000 feet. Okay, Semeru, island of Java, 14,000. That's a pretty tall blast. A lot of pressure got relieved there. Marapi on western Sumatra, right next to where that earthquake happened, next to Sumatra. Marapi, the volcano, right next to it, had a 14,000 foot blast. Explosive activity continues. Santa Guido, explosive activity continues. 14,000 feet out of it as well. Almost kind of an even pressure. 14,000 Semeru, 14,000 Merapi, 14,000 Santa Guido. A little bit higher here at Guatemala, 16,000, but Reventador, 15. All right, so they're all in that like mid-teens 14, 15, and 16,000 foot blasts. And that was just today. That's just since. Let's go into the 20th. What happened earlier today? Echihanus, still a lot of activity going on there. We got to watch that carefully. Let's go on to Suinosujima, 7,000 feet. Semaru, 14. Marapi, 14. All right, these are the same blasts that we just saw. Popocatépetl, 20. Santa Guido, 20. Fuego, 16. Nevada del Ruiz, 19,000. Sangay, 19. So even higher blasts earlier today. All right, so the pressure was on, and we had some really tall blasts. Look at this, Sabancaya, 26,000. All right, so some really tall blasts earlier today on the 20th, and then we're already having, well, they're reporting these ones right here, probably during the transition during the day, 14,000 feet out of Semaru and Merapi. All right, so a lot of tall blasts going on, 14,000 feet, 20s, couple of 20s, 16s, 19s, and then this one right here, 26,000. That's one of the tallest ones I've seen in where? Buenos Aires. Right next to where I was showing you the flood devastation and that huge hail. Volcanic ash advisory. Buenos Aires warned about a volcanic ash plume that rose up to an estimated 26,000 feet. All right. All your volcanoes that are currently erupting, ones that are, all right, see Bagana, put that over here because it went active. Ebico, Erebus. Don't forget about this one in Antarctica. We got volcanoes in Antarctica going off, all right? Or this one at least. Urda Ale. Any of these could jump over here at any time. Fernandina in the Galapagos is our latest kind of new one, too. Don't forget about Krakatau and the Sunda Strait in between Sumatra and Java. That's the big one it used to be Krakatoa. It's still currently erupting. Luatolos, Merapi, Messiah, all of these are still currently erupting. And please have some more. Venador, Ricahana, Makaya, Sakurajima, Sangay, Santa Guido, Semaru, Chevalu, Stromboli, over by Italy, still active. Okay, Suinosujima. Here's this new one, Tanakalua in the Solomon Islands. Here's Villarica. Remember this one sometimes hops back and forth? Well, Villarica back over here, Yasur by Vanuatu. All right, and any one of these could jump over there as well. Just kind of going back up through Nevada del Ruiz. We saw 22,000 feet out of that. That goes over there. Mayon, watch out, Kilauea. All right, so there's your volcano report. Excuse me. We got a lot of pressures being vented through volcanoes instead of our earthquakes. So, and well, actually, we did have a little uptick there. So, we're seeing a little diffusion of energy being released through both avenues now. All right, let me get that just right. Let that loop play for a second there while I. A lot of crazy things on this map. Okay, but a lot of that'll change too. Could be lessened or could change to even the crazier side. So let's back up more. All right, current conditions. Nighttime of the 20th. Morning of the 21st. Noon. Convection. So convection by the coast. even shifting nighttime kind of more up towards Oklahoma. So watch out for that little pop-up right there in the nighttime of the 21st tomorrow. Well, the 21st. Tomorrow's the 20th, kind of. Then as we go into the morning of the 22nd, we get this big blossom down here still, okay, that we were watching yesterday. It comes, well, it's about noontime, and then by convection, it hits Florida's west coast. Nighttime, actually shifting some energy up here to in the nighttime. See that jump up there now? So watch out in this region too. That could possibly, catch people off guard, not being, forecasted or seen quite early enough. But the nighttime of the 22nd, watch out here. This could possibly, all right, as we go into the morning of the 23rd there, the noon time, wow. Convection. I can only zoom in one little bit more, but we're going to do it because it's important. This is the convection of the 23rd, all right? Long Island, Massachusetts, this whole area, watch out. Severe weather at convection on the 23rd, and then we have this huge patch out here as well down below there. Icing event up here in Maine, severe weather right next to it, deep snow and stuff behind that. So convection of the 23rd is going to be something to watch out for. All right, so there's a convection going into the nighttime. It's still kind of going along the coast there. There's the morning of the 24th. Got this big low building in here now. Noontime, convection, the nighttime. Look at this thing acting like a hurricane out there. Whew. Then we got the morning of the 25th. Noon, convection. By convection, we might have a QLCS form here. We see this little pop-up line right in front of it. That's what we don't like to see. See the main storm front right here, and then there's a little branch in front of it. So that tells me this could have the possibility for those pop-ups out in front of the main QLCS there. So we don't want that. And that would be projected around the end of convection the 25th. All right, so convection the 25th going into the nighttime. So this could be a nocturnal event. You saw how it got more severe at nighttime. All right, and that could catch people off guard. There's red in there. Now this patch area could shift north, south when these two masses collide and create this effect. It could be just a little east. It could be just a little west. It's not set in stone, but it is an event to look out for on the 25th. So everybody on the 25th, you're going to be looking at the blood moon, but also pay attention to this. What? There's a blood moon on the 25th? Yes, there is. Boom, right there. That nighttime event right there, that nighttime blossoming is going to be dangerous, especially in the morning hours of the 26th now. All right, so this is going to be morning of the 26th, noontime, it's still severe. Convection, it's still around. The nighttime of the 26th, finally dissipating. Morning of the 27th, as we got another storm moving in over here too. That'll be noon the 27th, morning of the 28th, or convection 28th, noon, convection, nighttime. Nighttime of the 28th, watch out around here. This could change, but that's what it's showing for now. Morning of the 29th, noon, convection, severe weather at convection and noon over here on the west coast. See that? Coming ashore there. Noon, convection of the 29th, nighttime the 29th, severe weather here, severe weather on the coast as well here, also hitting the west coast of Florida. So that little storm moving could wreak havoc. We'll watch it as it evolves. That'll be the morning of the 30th, noon. Still severe weather here too. Convection, Look at this convection happen off the coast. Back up. It just starts right there as it moves off the coast. So convection the 30th, nighttime. Look at this snow whipping back into New York. Dang it. Where'd it go? Oh, dang it, I spilled my drink. Where did it go? Well, we managed to spill the entire drink. It took so long to find it that it spilled. So give me a second here. Soak this up. Oh, it's been one of those days, you know. All right. All right. Let's just move forward. The nighttime of the 30th, morning of the 31st, noon, convection. The nighttime of the 31st, noon, or morning of the 1st, noon, convection. These because this is around the 3rd there, possibly something happening there around the nighttime of the 3rd, but that's going to change, so I don't want to invest too much time in that. All right, let's go ahead and start that all over. Dang, man, that was my drink for the show. All right, while you guys are looking at that for a second, let me go get a backup drink. I'll be right back, and we'll do the reading, okay? You guys take a look at that real quick while we get another drink. Okay, we're back. All right, so let me take out some of these instruments real quick. Just real quick, if we could get back to this polar vortex, I just want to talk about this a little bit. We this polar vortex here at this channel, all right? So we all kind of could see that that was coming, and that they were gonna. It's just they're a little late on reporting it, but we've watched this vortex here evolve over time, and now, as you can see, it's kind of the closest one to the pole, and it is rotating the wrong direction. But since the last we had, it was really dipped down here, really having effects. Now, so much, no, not so much anymore. The effects it's causing are the ridge out here that's dipping stuff into us now. So there's your vortex in reverse, because they're calling this one the polar vortex now when it used to be this vortex. All right, so we've had shifting of priorities, and now it's this one. It'll all change. You see how much this changes every day, and then how we've evolved to multiple vortexes all around, even flattened out ones and stuff. So crazy stuff going on there. All right, now let's get over this. We'll pull up some images and do a reading here. Let me clear out some of these other instruments. Something's jamming up my computer here, taking up all the bandwidth or something. Come on now. All right. All right, here we go. Now we can get some of this stuff. All right, now let's get a video pulled up here. Something to read to. Actually, a little something to look at here. Let's play this one for a second here. For a minute, you guys. Oh, after an ad, I'm sure. No. Running through the filter, and this was one of the first ones that I had ever captured. And what's going on here is I'm here on my knees up here. I'm sitting here praying. Okay, you guys have all probably seen this one before, but I'm playing it to for like a relaxing time. And so take some deep breaths while you're watching this. Next to my head, and we're going to zoom in on this. You can't go in too tight on it, but she's looking down at my head this way. Let's see, there's pretty good. And you can make out her eye and her nose coming down, her shawl coming over, and it's in shadow right here. This is a shadow of the inside of her shawl going over her head like this. Here's her eye, her nose, her other eye would be on the other side there. Okay. You can't go in too tight on it. All right. And then let's just get to our reading here. I just kind of was getting set up for that. I figured I'd give you something to look at for a minute, bring you something peaceful to look at for a minute while you unwind from that report.
I love Thomas's English muffins.
Oh, do you?
Do you hear that?
In about 7 or 8 of those pictures appears to be Jesus in the clouds here. So I need you to tilt your head to the right about 45 degrees, and here's an eye, his other eye, his nose, his mouth, his chin and beard, his hair flowing back like this, and you can make out a crown up here above his head. That crown is hovering over his head. There seems to be almost a little halo around his head too. And once you see that image, we can zoom in just a little bit tighter. There you go. All right, there we go. Okay, let's see. Come to me for rest and refreshment. The journey has been too much for you, and you are bone weary. Do not be ashamed of your exhaustion. Instead, see it as an opportunity for me of your life. Remember that I can fix everything into a pattern for good, including the things you wish were different. So start with where you are at this point in time, at this point in time and space, accepting where I intend you to be. All right. Start with where you are at this point in time and space, accepting that this is where I intend you to be. You will get through each day one step, one moment at a time. Your main responsibility is to remain attentive to me, letting me guide you through the many choices along your pathway. This sounds like an easy assignment, but it's not. Your desire to live in my presence goes against the grain of the world, the flesh, and the devil. So much of your weariness results from your constant battle against these opponents. However, you are on the path of my choosing, so do not give up. Hope in me, for you will again praise me for the help of my presence. Okay, some important things in that one right there. It sounds like an easy assignment, but it's not. Your desire to live in my presence goes against the grain of the world. Much of your weariness results from your constant battle against these opponents. You're weary because you're fighting against the world to stay aware of my presence. It is a battle. It's a spiritual battle to try to stay aware of my presence. That's why I was helping you with the sitting shotgun thing. When you're starting to feel all weird, whatever, remember I'm sitting right next to you, holding you by your right hand. Okay? The other important thing was you are on the path of my choosing. So don't give up. start with where you're at this point in time, accepting that this is where I intend you to be. All right, so remember that stuff. Also, I am above all things, your problems, your pain, and the swirling events in this ever changing world. When you behold my face, you rise above circumstances and the rest with me in heavenly realms. This is the way of peace, living in the light of my presence. Pretty simple stuff. This is the way of peace by living in the light of my presence. That's what you guys are doing right here at this channel right now. When I'm talking to you right now, you are living in the light of my presence. I'm present right now talking to you. Um, that's that's how you find peace. Hopefully that's what you're doing here at this show. When we do these spiritual reports, is you're finding that peace that transcends all your circumstances. Okay. All right, back to this. I guarantee that you will always have problems in this life, but they must not become your focus. When you feel yourself sinking in the sea of circumstances, say, "Help me, Jesus," and I will draw you back to me. If you have to say it 1,000 times daily, don't be discouraged. I know your weakness and I meet you in that very place. All right. I'm still struggling with it myself many times a day. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. All right. I know it's an AA thing, but it's also a very important prayer. Help me accept the things I cannot change. And then also give me the courage to change the things I can. And then also the wisdom to know the difference. That's asking Jesus to help you. And I will. I will help you. I will draw near to you and I will draw you back to me. Even if you have to say it 1,000 times, don't be discouraged. Um, Seek my face more and more. You are really just beginning your journey of intimacy with me. It is not an easy road, but it is a delightful and privileged way, a treasure hunt. I am the treasure, and the glory of my presence glistens and shimmers along the way. Hardships are part of the journey, too. I give them out over. I hand them out ever so carefully in just the right dosage, with a tenderness you can hardly imagine. So do not recoil from affliction, since they are among my most favored gifts. Trust me and don't be afraid, for I am your strength and song. Is that really the one? Next one? Hang on a second. Okay, yeah. So, trust me enough to spend ample time with me, pushing back the demands of your day. Refuse to feel guilty about something that is so pleasing to me, because I am able to bend space and time and events in your favor. You will find that you can accomplish more in less time after you have given yourself to me in rich communication. Also, as you align yourself with my perspective, you can sort out what is important and what is not. So don't fall into the trap of being constantly on the go. Many things people do in my name have no value. To avoid doing meaningless works, stay in continual communication with me, and I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my eye upon you. Here again, um, my piece is all right. Here, something I wanted to talk about. Well, we'll talk about that later. Let's get back to this. My peace is like a shaft of golden light shining on you continuously. During days of bright sunshine, it may blend in with your surroundings. But on darker days, my peace stands out in sharp contrast to your circumstances. See times of darkness as opportunities for my light to shine in transcendent splendor. I am training you to practice peace that overpowers darkness. Collaborate with me in this training and do not grow weary or lose heart. I am ever so near you, hovering over your shoulder, reading every thought. People think that thoughts are fleeting and worthless, but yours are precious to me. I smile when you think lovingly of me. My spirit, who lives within you, helps you to think my thoughts. As your thinking goes, so goes your entire being. So let me be your positive focus. When you look to me, knowing me as God with you, you experience joy, don't you? When you let me be your positive focus, you look to me, knowing me as God with you, you experience joy. This is according to my ancient design when I first crafted man. Modern man seeks his positive focus elsewhere in sports, sensations, and especially acquiring new possessions. Advertising capitalizes on the longing of people for a positive focus in their lives. I planted that longing in human souls, knowing that only I could fully satisfy it. So delight yourself in me and let me become the desire of your heart. Um, what was the other one? Okay, whoa, lights out. Come back. There we go. Scroll back up there. People even see my face a little closer there. Nah, it's better that way. All right, back to reading. So come to me with all your weaknesses, physical, emotional, and spiritual, and rest in the comfort of my presence, remembering that nothing is impossible with me. Again, rest in the comfort of my presence, remembering that nothing is impossible with me. Pry your mind away from your problems so you can focus your attention on me. Recall that I am able to do immeasurably more than all you ask or imagine. Instead of trying to direct me to do this or that, seek to attune yourself to what I am already doing. When anxiety attempts to wedge its way into your thoughts, remind yourself that I am your shepherd. The bottom line is that I am taking care of you. Therefore, you needn't be afraid of anything. Rather, maintain control over your life. Abandon yourself to my will. Though this may feel frightening and even dangerous, it's the safest place to be. Especially these days. Um, I give you my shield of victory, and my right hand sustains you. I won the ultimate victory through my sacrificial crucifixion and my miraculous resurrection. I did this for you, for all who trust in me as Savior God. I accomplished everything. Your part is just to believe. Your part is to believe that you need a Savior. Okay, so not just believe, but you also need to believe that you need a Savior to pay the penalty for your sins, and I am the only way of salvation. Your saving faith sets you on a path to heaven. Meanwhile, my victorious shield protects you as you journey through this world. Use the shield of faith to stop the fiery arrows of the devil. When you're in the thick of battle, call out to me. Help me, Lord. I trust in you. As you live in close dependence on me, my right hand does indeed sustain you, holding you up. I have indescribably great power, yet I use my mighty right hand not only to protect you, tenderly lead you and help you keep going. Sometimes I even gather you in my arms and carry you close to my heart, like right now. Challenging circumstances come and go, but I am constantly with you. I'm writing the storyline of your life through good times and hard times. I can see the big picture from before your birth to beyond the grave. I know exactly what you will be like when heaven becomes your forever home, and I'm continually working to transform you into this perfect creation. You are indeed royalty in my kingdom. The constancy of my presence is a glorious treasure that is underrated by most Christians. They've been taught that I am continually with them, but they often think and act as if they're alone. When you lovingly whisper my name, drawing near me even in tough times, both you and I are blessed. This simple prayer demonstrates your trust that I am indeed with you and I am taking care of you. The reality of my presence outweighs the difficulties you're facing, no matter how heavy they seem. So come to me when you're feeling weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Oh, I got more. Oh boy, so much more. I need another soda. Hang on. Okay. No, we're not changing picture. We'll just leave that one right there for tonight. I am the champion who perfects your faith. The more the more problem filled your life becomes, the more important it is to keep your eyes on me. If you gaze too long at your problems or at the troubles of the world, you will become discouraged. Whenever you're feeling weighed down or disheartened, break free by looking to me. I am always with you, so you can communicate with me at any time, in any situation. Instead of just letting your thoughts run freely, direct them to me. This gives traction to your thinking and draws you closer to me. Rest in my embrace for a while, enjoying the nurturing protection of my presence. As you survey the landscape of this broken world, rejoice that nothing can separate you from my love. This promise applies to anything you could ever encounter, no matter how bleak things may look to you. I am still in control. I, your champion who fights for you, scoff at those who think they can defeat me. Remember, my unfailing love surrounds you. So trust in my unfailing love, thanking me for the good and thanking me for the good. Uh, uh, Trust in my unfailing love, thanking me for the good you do not see. When evil seems to be flourishing in the world around you, it can look as if things are spinning out of control. But rest assured, I'm not wringing my hands helplessly, wondering what to do next. I am still in control, and there is behind the scenes goodness in the midst of turmoil. So I urge you to thank me not only for the blessings you can see, but for the ones you cannot see. My wisdom and knowledge are deeper and richer than words can express. My judgments are unsearchable and my paths beyond tracing out. That is why trusting me at is so crucial. You must not let confusing circumstances shake your faith in me. When your world feels unsteady, the disciplines of trusting and thanking me serve to stabilize you. Remember, I am always with you. I guide you with my counsel, and afterward, I will take you into glory. So let this hidden treasure, your heavenly inheritance, lead you into joyous thanksgiving. Don't forget that heavenly inheritance. That's that's another thing. Oh yeah, I got that coming still too. Oh yay. And that leads you into joyous thanksgiving. Um oh, we got more. Oh boy. Yay, we got more folks. Want a different image? Um Here, let's do the flip book right there. Okay, now we're here at this image. All right, there's the little lion face there. I want you to live close to me, open to me, aware of, attentive to, trusting, and thanking me. I am always near you, so open yourself fully, heart, mind, and spirit, to my living presence. Feel free to ask the Holy Spirit to help you in this endeavor. Seek to stay aware of me as you follow your path through each day. There is never a moment when I am not fully aware of you. Attentiveness involves being alert, listening carefully, and observing closely. I encourage you to be attentive not only to me, but to the people I bring into your life. Listening to others with full, prayerful intention blesses both them and you. The Bible is full of instructions to trust and thank me. Remember, I am totally trustworthy, so it is always appropriate to believe me and my promises. I understand your weakness, and I will help you overcome your unbelief. Finally, thank me throughout each day. This discipline of gratitude helps you receive my joy in full measure. Um, when the task before you looks daunting, refuse to be intimidated. Discipline your thinking to view the challenge as a privilege rather than a burdensome duty. Make the effort to replace your I have to mentality with an I get to approach. This will make all the difference in your perspective. By making the effort to replace your I have to mentality, I have to a I get to approach, all right? That will make all the difference in your perspective, transforming drudgery into delight. This is not a magic trick. The work still has to be done. But the change in your viewpoint can help you face the challenging chore joyfully and confidently. So, as you go about your work, perseverance is essential. If you start to grow weary or discouraged, remind yourself, I get to do this. Then thank me for giving you the ability and strength to do what needs to be done. Thankfulness clears your mind and draws you closer to me. Remember that my spirit who lives in you is the helper. So ask him to help you when you're perplexed. As you ponder problems and seek solutions, he will guide your mind. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as if working for me. All right. I think that might be that. Okay, yeah, that was the closing. So important stuff in there. The I get to approach. When you start looking through that perspective, all the burdensome things become delightful. Uh, when you know you're working for me, you're not just working for your paycheck, that you're actually doing spiritual work in the meantime for me, that's what brings joy to your heart. So when you're doing stuff, do it as if you're doing it for me. You know, the other people who you bring light into their life, you're doing that as if you were working for me. So I want you to live close to me and open to me, aware of, attentive to, trusting, and thanking me. When you have that mentality in your head, that filter in your brain, all of a sudden the way you think and the way you respond through that filter instead, and you're a much happier person. Okay. Which makes me happier seeing you happier as well. So, see how all this stuff works? It's pretty cool, and I got lots more for you, but we can only do so much before we lose your attention. So I love you guys. I miss you. Um, you know what? Let's go back through here real quick and just kind of thank Leslie and Jimmy and Tiger's Eye and Sherry and the Scan family. Oh, of course, Hopkinson. Hopkinson, you're like the biggest sharer. Do you know how important that is? I cannot self promote. It's only people helping me spread the word. You understand how that works, right? You're my biggest sharer, so thank you for sharing. All you guys, thank you for being here. Oh, you guys are having great little conversations. Cool, cool, cool. Anybody see Gabe here tonight? I thought I saw him here earlier. Oh, there he is. Yeah, Gabe was here. Good, good, good. I thought I saw you here earlier. Anyways, the Don Burge, thank you for being here. Also, Steven Saint. Yeah, all you folks. We got some good peeps here. It's a good family. What was that one? I, I saw. I thought I saw a putty tat. Oh no, it was that? Richard Garcia. Welcome, my friend. All right. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming. I love you all. Hopefully, this brings you guys some peace, some hope, some strength, some courage. All right. We got Easter coming up here real soon. We got all kinds of stuff coming up here real soon. All right. So hold on tight. Take a deep breath. Remember, I'm right there, right next to you. Okay. So whenever you're starting to freak out, take a deep breath. Look to your right. I'm holding you by your right hand. You've got this. You can do this. All right. I love you. I miss you. And until my next show, I will be back. I am already back. And I love you guys. Bye.